Hi, welcome to part 2 of my back box delete video series. In the last video I offered up this Iveco Daily tailpipe to see if it was the right shape and size to replace the big silencer at the back of the Freelander 2. So this great big thing up here at the back end, I've never really liked that, and I'd like to get rid of it. So my plan is to cut the exhaust sort of here somewhere, and I have bought this amazing tool, which is some sort of chain cutter thing. It's a bit like a pipe cutter with loads and loads of wheels on it, and you kind of connect that round the exhaust and then you can cut through. I've also bought assorted sort of hangers. Okay, so this one I think is from a VW Golf, Citroen or something like that, and a BMW one. I just saw these, they looked like I might be able to use them. I've got some sort of nice firm uprated regular exhaust hangers. Okay, so these are really sort of stiff, strong, high temperature ones. Okay, so I've got 4 of those, which I don't think I need 4, probably need 1 or 2 of them, but they look nice, so I thought I'd buy those. Also bought this nice stainless steel kind of general purpose exhaust hanger. I did order 63mm, and it looks like they've sent me a 64mm one, but I'm sure it'll fit. Probably just tighten it up a bit more. And I've got 2 U-bolts there, 63 and a 64. Okay, so I think 63 is what I need, but once this end here is shoved over the Freelander 2 exhaust pipe, it might need a slightly bigger clamp. So I thought I'd get them both. The end of this is about 64, I think it was about 64 when I measured it on the outside, 61 to 62 on the inside, and then the other pipe here is 61, I think it was 60 to 61. So I'm kind of hoping it all goes together pretty well, just in case things don't mate up nice and sort of sealed. I've got one of these kits here, so these are pipe enlarging tools. So you stick them in and kind of crank them up, and they sort of swell the pipe slightly so you can get a better seal. Also got some threaded rod and some steel strip with lots of holes in, should I need to sort of fabricate my own sort of brackets or that to kind of hang the exhaust from. Angle grinder there because this is going to have to come off. Okay, so this is the hanger for the Iveco Daily, and if I show you underneath, if I just offer this up, you can get a feel for what it will look like. This is going to be a little bit tricky to do with one hand. Okay, so the idea is to cut off the pipe and get rid of the silencer, and then that kind of goes like sort of around there, and then instead of the big box we've got the pipe, and it comes out here where pretty much where the standard tailpipe is. It'll come out at a diagonal angle, okay, so 45 degrees rather than straight out. And I could always put a kind of cosmetic sort of tailpipey thing on there, just to bring it kind of out a little bit further. I'm a bit worried that it's going to sort of stop about here, and I don't know if it's an MOT sort of fail that it doesn't clear this plastic valance. I don't really want any issues with heat melting that, so I kind of do need to make sure it sticks out beyond that. The biggest challenge is not going to be getting this joined. That's quite easy. I just cut that, stick the new one on, put the U-clamp round, tighten it up. The biggest challenge is going to be supporting this. Okay, so my thinking is, because the factory hangers are sort of right there, miles away. There's another one over there. Okay, they're completely nowhere near where I need to actually put a sort of hanger for this exhaust. So I need something around about here. Okay, sort of fairly near the anti-roll bar. And I need to engineer it so that it can sort of move back and forth. It's no good having sideways movement, it's got to be sort of back and forth. So that'll actually have to turn sort of 90 degrees. Let's just get that. So probably sort of like so. I can always put this bolt the other way up, and with that like that, so that that can then sort of move like that. And then on the top of that I'll put this, which is the Golf GTI, I think it is, or something like that, hanger. So if I just try and push those together, right, let's see if I can get this very roughly assembled. So the idea is that will go up like that, and then that will be like that. Okay, so that is going to be bolted up into the boot floor. There's nowhere else to bolt it to. I can't really use the subframe here because that's just going to be at an angle then, and it's going to end up with the exhaust just drooping over time. So it's the hanger has to be vertically above the exhaust, and it has to allow for back and forth motion. Okay, so kind of like that, because that can then sort of wobble back and forth as the engine pushes and pulls the exhaust around as it, accelerates, decelerates. So that is the plan. Okay, now it's a lovely sunny autumnal day today. The leaves are definitely coming down now. It is quite warm out here today, but there's going to be cold weather coming. So I do need to get on with some of the other projects that I've got in the pipeline. Getting the Webasto done. I've done my rear brakes on this side, and I've taken out the wheel arch liner and lano guarded all up inside there, rust proofed and treated. And I need to do this corner now, and that is it then for the brakes. All four wheels are new discs, new calipers, new hoses as well. So I've still got my EBC disc in there, which I need to put on this wheel, because it's not really a good idea to drive around with one new disc. They're supposed to be fitted in pairs. Okay, so I need to get on with that. I'm going to do that tomorrow. So I need to do this today, and the sun is almost setting. It gets dark quite early nowadays. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the angle grinder going, get my safety goggles on, cut off that peg thing that's sticking off the exhaust there, because I don't need that. I'm definitely not going to be using that. I thought about trying to sort of heat it and bend it upwards, but it's just in the wrong place. So I'm going to cut that off, and then I'm going to use the magic tool to cut the exhaust pipe and cut the old hangers. The old hangers can just go in the bin. The rubber is quite perish, so I'll just cut those with a knife and remove the rear silencer from the car, and then I should be able to have a better view up of the boot floor. I need to be very careful where I take bolts through, because the spare tyre is underneath there, you see, so I'm going to probably have to pull all of this lot out and get the spare wheel out, and otherwise I'm going to end up drilling into the spare tyre. So yeah, there's a lot to do. I need to get on with it before it gets dark. Right. Oh, that took a bit of cutting through. Scraped up the pipe a little bit, but that's fine. So yeah, that was a pretty thick steel rod on that, welded to it. I thought about trying to cut at the weld to sort of leave it nice and tidy, but that risks cutting through the pipe, which is quite thin. So it's better just to cut it straight off. I'll get the file out in a minute when it's cooled down and just smooth that off a bit, just so there's no sharp edges. Okay, so the next thing to do is to cut this pipe, and I'm going to cut it here directly below the CV joint, which leaves enough to push the new pipe over the top of. Come on. Feels like it's going through. Yeah. I think that's gone through. Right, it's pretty much cut all the way round. I think once the back box is disconnected from its hangers, that will come off. Right, okay, so Special Magic tool has cut pretty much through. I mean, you can see the gaps opening and closing there, so that's kind of hanging by a thread. So once the hangers are released, that'll just break off. Okay, it's probably the soot or something inside that's holding it together, but obviously the whole thing's a bit solid at the moment, so there's no room for kind of pulling that away. So I will deal with these hangers now. They probably just need cutting. I don't know if they're going to actually pop back off. Oh, right. Pet Lane Kitty's here. She's going to help me. Kits. Right, okay. I'm going to get a knife out and start hacking away at these hangers and see if this rear box comes off. Okay, right, so I've cut this end and one of the hanger rubber things on that end. Okay, so it's just one left. The exhaust is quite heavy, and the silencer is quite heavy, so I need to be a bit careful how I do this. Put my kneeler thing underneath, because this will make a bit of a clang when it drops. Where is it? Right, remove the remains of the old hangers. There we go, that pipe has come apart and we've got a nice clear boot floor underside, so I can get in there and do a bit of rust treatment while I'm here. Right, let's have a quick look at the old silencer. It's really heavy, really heavy. It is stainless steel, so it's in good condition. The hangers are rusty, so they look like just normal steel. Right. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just offer this up, the moment of truth, to see if that actually fits over the end of the cut-off pipe. If it doesn't, I've got a problem. I'm going to have to refit this and try and sleeve this pipe here to join it back up. Right, okay, the moment of truth. Please, please fit over that pipe. Oh God. Oh dear, it's not quite fitting. It is bigger. I can see the two pipes now they're actually pushed together. The Iveco one is bigger, but I don't think it's a size issue. I think it's just that this one's been dashed around and is a bit out of round, so I might need to use my special spreader tool thing to get that to go on, just to sort of make it round again, really. But everything else looks good. Yeah. That's good, that is. The distance up to the boot floor is good as well. I can put a hanger under there to support that. Now I do need to lift this off the tank guard. Okay, so that must be lifted slightly, otherwise it's just going to be rattling about on the tank guard. Right. Okay. I can't resist starting the car up just to see what this sounds like. I'll start the car. I've got to be careful because it's actually in gear on the ramps at the moment. I'm just going to start it, and it'll give us an idea of how loud this is going to be with the other pipe on. Well, interestingly, the actual exhaust note, even when I revved it, is not much different. I've gone to all this trouble to get a bit of a sporty exhaust sound, and there's every possibility that I might just end up with exactly the same thing. So it makes you wonder what that rear silencer actually does. There was a loud noise as the exhaust rattled against the tank guard, so that's a reminder that I definitely need to lift it a little bit to clear that. Right, okay. Well, I'm going to get out the special tool and see if I can enlarge the end of the pipe a bit. Right, so this thing has like a 19mm hex shaft on it. And you stick that in, and it might need a bigger ratchet or bar, and you crank it up a bit, and it's meant to stretch the pipe. It only needs a little bit, so I'm just gonna, probably 0.5 millimetre up bigger would do it, I reckon. And I think it's a case of taking it up a little bit at a time. Oh, look at that. Oh, I think, oh, that's actually gone on. How much has that got on? I need to mark it up really where I need to get to on the pipe, but with that there, look at this. It's perfect. Look at that, and then that comes out there, and that needs to obviously go on a bit more, which means that will line up nicely with the existing tailpipe cutout. So what I'm going to do is try and mark up, I reckon, probably another, oh, that was only on about 20mm, so yeah, probably another 30, probably about 50mm, sort of 2 inches of overlap. It might need more actually. Yeah, if I can get about 7 centimeters, 70mm, sort of like this much, okay, about 3 inches, 75 mils, 3 inches. I would feel better if there was a decent bit of overlap there, just for strength, where we need to lift this up a little bit. I don't want that kind of working loose. Okay, so even if I have to put 2 U-clamps on it, whatever's required to get it nice and tight and sort of a mechanically sound joint, obviously gas tight as well, can't really have any leaking fumes. Okay, quick update, it is in. So I put this about 7 centimeters down and pushed this on, and it was nice and tight, and I kind of wiggled it, and it kept moving, it kept going. And then what I'm trying to do is get this tailpipe here, sort of not here with this plastic, but here, so that it kind of blasts out of here where there's this cutout. I can always put like a kind of a cosmetic chromy tailpipey thing on. Okay, so that actually went on about 100. The old pipes, well, it's underneath the CV joint. Yeah, you can see where it is. That's a good 100mm that's gone on, which is great. It's a nice tight fit. I had to kind of wiggle it on, actually kind of working it on there, kind of really sort of almost interference fit. Now, I haven't put any exhaust paste in there. I really don't know if I need to do that or not. I'm not sure if it's actually required on such a tight joint like that. Not sure really. Kind of hoping that once this U-bolt is tightened up, obviously I don't want the nuts hanging down where they're going to catch on rocks and things like that, so try and get this. Now this is the 63, and I don't know if this is big enough. Right, I think we need the 64, because where I've enlarged this is probably 65 or so now. Come on, get on there. Oh, that's... Oh, is it on? No, I think we need the 64. Let's just get the 64. Okay. Let me just undo, because now the pipe's on. Well, I suppose no, I can't slide it from the end because of that little metal peg thing that I cut off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just unscrew the nuts, take it apart. Right, there we go. That's better. That's better. That's a nice tight fit. Okay, so this one, I just want to make sure that it isn't, because I've got the nuts on there. Come on. Oh, okay, right, so the 63 did go on. That is tight though. That's tight. Now it's going to be upside down. I mean, it's there. You can see how it's there on its own without the nuts on. Okay, so that's how tight it is. So I don't know quite where to clamp that. I probably want to come slightly back from. I'm not sure if I need to be on the opening bits here. I mean, they're only about 20 mil kind of long. I probably want to be quite close to those so that it does like really clamp up. On the main pipe it might not be able to clamp up. Right. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to fit this, because I haven't put the hanger thing on yet, you see, so I can probably get to what I need to do there with the pipe in situ. Just want to make sure this is like level. There we go. I want to make sure. Yeah, that's pretty level. Okay, so this is what I'm concerned about here, is the pipe here. We can take our burning rag out of there now. This is just missing. Now you can't really see because of the light. There, it's just missing this bit of plastic here. So what I need is some sort of tailpipey thing, like a lot of boy racers kind of fit, those sort of stainless tailpipey things. But I reckon that actually it's just missing this. But of course, sitting in traffic, the hot gas is going to be kind of rising. I don't want it melting the plastic valance or whatever it's called, skirting kind of thing around the bottom of the bumper. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten up the U-clamp now. Put those nuts on there. And then tomorrow I will look at doing the hanger. Alright, let's get this nice and tight. Okay, so I've got a light underneath here so I can see what I'm doing now because it's getting dark. That is tightened up. Okay, I did have to put it just onto those slits. If it was further back it just wouldn't grip and the pipe just wasn't tight, so that is nice and tight. This is sort of hanging here in mid-air. Okay, so what I need to do is try to create some kind of hanger type thing. I tried to connect up to the one up here, okay, so the factory thing, and it just it was just too far. Okay, so the gap between this arm and that arm was just too long, even when I wound it right back, and it also wasn't really, because it was at an angle, it just wasn't lifting this off the fuel tank guard. So I really need something with almost an adjustment in it. Now this arm does have a bolt thing thread there, which is great, so I can put this hoop on the pipe and then adjust it. Now if I just stick that over there, so what I want is to take that kind of up to the boot floor and then be able to adjust that. Now that's already adjusted fully down, so I need to get it right so that there's enough sort of flex in it for the exhaust movement, but it also lifts up slightly, and the bolts that I take through the boot floor don't go into the spare tyre. Okay, so the tyre is kind of here, so this area here I believe is in the middle, so the wheel is above there. I think the wheel goes in with the nice side up, so there's a big hole kind of here underneath, so it's probably got old tow ropes and whatever else kicking around there. So tomorrow I'll empty out the boot and work out where I need to drill for this. I'll leave the car on the ramps tonight so that I don't accidentally hop in it and drive it in the morning. But you can see that actually is about, if I do that, it's about 10 millimeters away from the boot floor. If I move that up, that lifts that 10 millimeters off the, roughly 10 millimeters off the fuel tank guard, which is what I want. So that is sort of kind of how I want it, but yeah, I've got to kind of make it happen really tomorrow. So yeah, I think I need to sort of like dry assemble it sort of thing with everything in the right position, and then mark up underneath, get everything out of the boot, and then drill from below really. And this is all going to be in the way. I reckon I can just about get the drill through here and drill up there. If necessary, I could always get my tap and die set and make this thread longer on this, or even just do away with the nut there and just thread it a little bit. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. I'd rather it was solid, but yeah. Okay, right, that's tomorrow's job. It's getting late now, it's getting dark, so I'm going to pack up and go in and let's just have a quick look at this. Right, there we go. That's looking good. That is looking good. Not quite drivable yet. Tomorrow I will carry on and get that hanger sorted, and then I'll start it up and go for a drive and see what it's like. Okay, so here we are the next day. I've cleared the boot out. I've pulled out everything from the boot. These are just the big items. All the small items are on the back seat, along with the old rear silencer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill 2 holes here. So where this sort of short rib bit kind of ends, I believe that is where I need to drill. Okay, so that's the hanger that I'm going to be using. So if we look up underneath here, we can see this middle one ends, and then there's a sort of flat area. That's where the bolt mount thing for the spare tyre retaining bolt goes. So So I'm going to drill sort of here. I believe that is kind of where I need to be, and that will just lift the exhaust just about 10 mil off the tank guard. Okay, so I will drill that very shortly. It is Remembrance Sunday today, and it's nearly 11 o'clock. I hear sort of bagpipes and things playing up at the War Memorial, so I'm not going to go up there, but I will observe the minute's silence. Okay, I think it would be a bit disrespectful to be drilling during that minute, so I will take a break, pay my respects, and a short time after that I will make those holes. Okay, 2-minute silence observed. Ironically, we've got gunfire in the background from the training camp. We had a Chinook helicopter flying over. I couldn't tell if it was some sort of fly past or whether he was just flying around. And the vicar seems to be on the megaphone up at the War Memorial and talked all the way through the 2-minute silence. Chaos. Well, Kitty and I observed it. We kept quiet. No meowing from her, which was good. Right. I hate to break the piece, but I'm going to get the drill out now. I'm going to have to take that hanger off because I want to drill from above. It's going to be a little bit tricky doing it from below, so I will use the holes on the hanger as a guide and mark up and drill. Let's get that done. I'll dig out some stainless steel bolts as well. Right, so this, I've noticed this thing here is offset for some reason. There's a difference here and here. So I need this to be central. Okay, so I want that kind of like that, really, as far that way as possible. It doesn't have to be mega accurate. I've got some stainless steel bolts. These are M6 with some sort of penny washers to spread the spread the bolt head sort of load on the boot floor, because I don't want over time for it to rip out or anything like that. It's not very thick, this. So I'll put a washer underneath as well, only because these holes are like sort of M10 holes. I haven't got any very, very short M10 bolts. Okay, so I'll put M6 in for now. I can always add bigger ones later, but the weight is not going to be great. M6 is fine, but it'd just be nice if I actually maximised the use of these holes here. So I think that is where I want it to be. Let's see if this pen works. Amazingly it does. Right. Okay. Right, that's where I need it to be. And I'll get the drill going. I'll just start off with like a 2 or 3 millimeter and then move up to 6 or 6, probably 6.5, probably, just to get the M6 bolt through nicely. Now, before I go any bigger, I'm just going to get underneath the car and just double check that I'm definitely coming through in the right place. Okay. There's a swarf on my knee. Oh, look, there we go. We can actually see daylight, and that is exactly where I want it. Good. Right. Pick this up so it doesn't get covered in swarf. Right, I'm just going to go with a 4mm first. what I want to do is I'll get the hoover and hoover this up in a bit, but pop these through. Now, do I want to put some paint or something on these? Yeah, I ought to really. Probably ought to get a little match pot thingy. What are they called? Colour match testery thing. Somewhere here. Somewhere. I've got one. Ah, is it in my... Aha! Yes, right, look at that. I don't know what colour it is. It looks like silver. I just don't ever remember buying silver paint, but silver is exactly what I need here, really. How strange. I would have bought black, and I would have bought a Lego grey for the bodywork. Maybe this is... Oh, maybe it has actually... I think it's actually just a silver container. Well, we shall see. Any paint will do. So we're going to be hidden from view. It's a shake up. Right, let's just see if we can do this now. We'll try and put the little mini tripody thing out. Okay. There we go. Right. No, it is silver. It is silver. Amazing. I don't ever remember buying that. It's probably years old. But it'll do. Right, let's get the bolts in there. Should really let the paint dry, but it's need to crack on with this. Now this is going to be interesting doing these up, because I'm not going to be able to get up to here and underneath at the same time, so I might have to put like an Allen key kind of through here or something to brace it. Right, so we've got two bolts sticking through, and somehow I've got to get the bracket on those without sort of accidentally pushing them back up through the holes. I need both hands for that, so I'm going to stop filming for a moment and resume in a mo. Okay, so there it is loosely. What I'm going to do is just get some mole grips on the nuts on this side. Right. Okay, I'll do this before that mole grip falls into my face. Right. Grip one side and then do up the other from above with the socket set, which is in the car. Right, let me get that out. Okay, those bolts are now tight, and they won't be anywhere near the spare tyre. They'll be underneath the spare wheel in the sort of recess under that. Now, here's this. I kind of loop that round. I'm hoping when I tighten this up, it will, if I zoom in, you'll be able to see, when I tighten this up, it will lift that away. Okay. And this still looks pretty good. Zoom back out. And this tailpipe, I need to sort of make sure that it's kind of like over a little. I can't really see that, it's so dark. Like clearing this bit of plastic here. Okay, let's see if we can. This bit, right. So final sort of adjustments will be done before I tighten everything up. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a drive after this is done and see what it's like. Although I probably will be actually removing this again temporarily, just to, wouldn't mind giving it a coat of some silver VHT paint, because this is not stainless, okay, this is mild steel and it's already got a bit of surface corrosion along the seam here. And I've also ordered a nice sort of rolled lip end kind of tailpipe trim, I think is what they call it, to go on there. I don't know if that will be in this video or whether that will be in part 3, I'm not sure. Let's see how much footage I've got and how I end up editing it. Right, okay, that is done up. I think that's really, really good, because that is in a perfect sort of position there to allow any kind of movement. This here is lined up just about to sort of clear that, so when I fit that tailpipe thing, which extends this by about 7.5 inches, what's that, about 20 centimetres, 15 to 20 centimetres, that will stick out to sort of here with a nice rolled end. That is there, that's tight, and most importantly of all, that's pulled away. So there's about 10mm clearance from the bottom of the tank guard and 10mm from this bit here. Okay, so that's in. There it is. Time to go for a drive. Right, here we go. Moment of truth. Oh. Right. Now, I will just start it and go around the back with it idling just to see what it sounds like. Not much difference at idle, which is good. That is good, because I didn't really want to be the noisy neighbour. Oh, there we go. Tailpipe's shaking about a little bit, but the rest of it all looks pretty solid. It's not rattling against the tank guard, which is good. Now, is that clearing the plastic? Yes, it is. Just about. Very smoky. Okay. Right, let's go for a little blip of the throttle and see what that does. Yeah, there's a definite increase in noise when revved up, which I think is really, really good, because that means at idle, when I start the car in the morning, I'm not going to get bad looks from people, and when I get out on the open road, stick my foot down, you get that sort of sporty tailpipey sound, which is really what I wanted. Okay, I've just got back from a test drive and I'm really, really pleased with that. Pit Lane Kitty is pleased as well, because it doesn't seem any noisier at idle and when driving slowly, and then when I put my foot down it sounds amazing. It's like a real howl sound, like a Vulcan bomber. It's yeah, really good actually, really good, and it only really sort of makes a lot of noise when you accelerate hard, which is what I wanted. I didn't want to be that neighbour with the loud exhaust, so I think this will do. Now I will get a tail piece to just extend that out a little bit beyond the plastic valance. I think I may have to cut that away a little bit. We'll see. I don't want it melting from the heat. Yeah, the only other things to do are to apply a bit of either exhaust paste or sort of silicone sealant around the joint, and it would be nice to give the new section of exhaust a coat of paint as well, of sort of some kind of VHT, very high temperature paint, so like silver paint or something like that, just to protect it against rust. So that is it. Back box delete, all looking and sounding really good. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope that video was useful. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.